Hey everyone, this is Corinne, the host of the Amun Inside Crypto podcast. Welcome back to another episode where we cover the latest news that has happened in the past week in cryptocurrency. We were supposed to have some interviews this week. Unfortunately, due to schedule conflicts, they fell through, which is why I get to do another episode like this. And let me tell you, we have some things to announce, which is why we're on this part of the Amun homepage as well. You can see it's amun.com/team, because I know you have been asking for a while, who's the team behind Amun? So please join me and have a look at this wonderful design. I love it. It says, paving the way to financial freedom. We are on a mission to empower everyone on the internet with tools to create wealth. Our index tokens make investing safe and efficient regardless of your experience. Let's have a look. It says founded 2019, 26 plus employees, 6 countries, 2,500 holders. Okay. Amun was founded in 2018 as the crypto-native, non-custodial arm of our sister company 21Shares. 21Shares is the world's largest issuer of crypto exchange-traded products, ETPs, which have simplified access to crypto in the traditional finance community. Similarly, Amun provides tokens that make it easy for the crypto community to use expert trading strategies and maximize growth. Who we are, our team brings together global leaders in finance and technology. So here's the team, and you can finally get to meet them, and you get to click on your LinkedIn or Twitters and see who they are about. Okay, and these are all the people, right, that are involved in Amun. Please have a look at them in your own time. The other thing I want to let you guys know is that we have a new token dashboard. So the market is not looking that great, which is why we see the numbers over here. So usually, right, if you're very familiar with the Amun dashboard, you'd come here, you'd see this stuff on the bottom, you'd click to the token you want to go to, you'd buy or sell or swap or mint. But now you would have noticed, right, we have this portion over here. It shows your portfolio, it shows history. This is my wallet, so there's nothing in there just yet on this wallet. And also one thing I would like to clarify as well, this is not available for Solana. It's only available for EVM tokens at the moment. Let's have a look at what this is involved. So I have a screenshot from one of the guys who was part of the team who designed this. And as you can see here, this is what it looks like. You can see your portfolio, so your overall value, how much money you're making, how much money you're losing. You can see the history of things you've done, or transferred 20p, transferred, swapped DFI. You can see your assets, right? So the things you have in total, like how much gains you have, how much repmatic you have, how much graph you have, right? And your total value of your holdings. So I think that's a really cool, neat addition for you to understand your Amun portfolio and your balance and what's going on there. So please, if you have any feedback about it, please come to Discord or tweet at us on Twitter. I'd love to hear what you guys think about the new dashboard. Okay, and as usual, we are going to jump into the CoinMarketCap overview of what is going on at the moment. So CoinMarketCap, the current cryptocurrency market cap, was at $1.3 trillion earlier this week. It has dropped significantly. One of the reasons as well is the Solana network, right, was down for a good 8 hours again. Solana's price dropped to under $40. Generally speaking, of course, market news is not great. So after this, you're going to listen to a clip from Bloomberg Market and Finance, where the head of the St. Louis Fed says that he thinks that we should raise the rates again and be more aggressive to deal with inflation. So of course, raising the rates will affect the markets everywhere, the stock market and cryptocurrency as well, which is why if you've been following the cryptocurrency news, you would have seen that people had said that they expect bottoms of 8,000 for Bitcoin, or 9,000 or 10,000 or 21,000. So it all depends. So please enjoy the video. If you do not wish to listen to the video, you can skip ahead roughly 2 minutes, and then we will start off our news segment.
Kathleen, is it just the hawks that want to keep raising rates, or are we also talking about the doves?
It looks like, especially if we just take today's Fed speaker, Sherry, as kind of a sample of all 17 members on the FOMC. I would say it's across the board now, starting with Jim Bullard. He's known as one of the uber hawks on the board of, on the Federal Open Market Committee. He's urging 50 basis point rate hikes now. He's saying that the Fed's credibility on inflation fighting, on getting back to the 2% target is risk, on the precipice of letting inflation expectations get out of control. His argument is really simple. If we are aggressive now, if we can get inflation to start coming down next year, maybe we could even start cutting rates by the end of next year. Let's listen.
As we get tangible evidence that inflation is definitely retreating, then we could look at reducing the policy rate in future years, 2020, maybe late 2023 or 2024.
Moving on to Mary Daly, San Francisco Fed president. She is known as one of the almost uber doves. Definitely has been in the dovish camp, but Mary Daly yet again saying today she is ready for the Fed to do what it takes to get inflation trending down. 50 basis point rate hikes now to get to new world, then start watching the data. Tom Barkin, Richmond Fed. I would say he's more of a centrist. Tom saying today, first of all, he's talking to businesses, looking at the numbers. He doesn't see any signs of recession in the data now. He says it, quotes, makes perfect sense for the Fed to start tightening policy. And let's remember, they have started their balance sheet run-up, quantitative tightening, average of about $80 billion a month running off their Treasury holdings and their mortgage-backed securities holdings in that balance sheet. So that's something else they're doing now, QT, to curb inflation. Jim Bullard, in fact, saying today the Fed's trying to use QT to put upward pressure on rates. Mary Daly saying the balance sheet trimming down delivers about 25 or 50 basis points of tightening. So, Heidi, I think they're working on all their tools now. Rate hikes is number one, but the balance sheet tightening is there too. They want to get inflation down, and they know they have to tighten the screws.
So the first piece of news today, I wanted to start off with something positive because today was negative when we were looking at Ethereum. Chipotle will now accept cryptocurrency in US stores. Anushri Dave. Chipotle will now accept currency through Flexa. So Flexa is a very famous digital payments platform. Fast food chains have increasingly begun experimenting in crypto, NFTs, and blockchain gaming, including Chipotle, which opened a store on Roblox in the fall. So Roblox is one of the most famous, I would say, metaverse-like games. Definitely catering more towards kids, though, in a sense, because a lot of kids here in Taiwan and pretty much everywhere, they play games on Roblox because all the games in Roblox, and there's some companies, they make tons of money on Roblox. So in Roblox, you could make your own game. I've taught Roblox programming before, and it was kind of hard for elementary school students, but it is definitely like, I can see Roblox pivoting towards crypto and NFTs in the future. So let's read the story. It says, Chipotle, the popular Mexican-style fast food restaurant, will now accept cryptocurrency payments through Flexa, a digital payments platform. Flexa supports around 98 currencies. That's impressive, including BTC and ETH. Customers can use the app to pay for food items in any of the nearly 3,000 Chipotle restaurants in the United States. So right in Taiwan and a lot of places, we don't have Chipotle, which sucks. To pay with Flexa, customers will need to download Gemini or the Spedin app, both of which store digital assets. Customers can then use the app and tap it in-store to make a payment. Chipotle joins a long list of restaurants that currently accept a cryptocurrency. Subway, one of the first to accept Bitcoin and stars, started as early as 2013. Wow, I did not realize Subway accepted crypto back then. Pizza Hut in Venezuela also began accepting crypto back in 2020. Starbucks allowed its reward members to turn cryptocurrency cash balances on the Starbucks app using a third-party app. Other fast food chains are trying to experiment in blockchain and crypto in other ways, trying to create hybrid digital physical experiences. Taco Bell, KFC, Chick-fil-A, Carl's Jr. are just a few chains that have recently filed for brand trademarks for NFTs. So again, this makes sense. We've seen the uptake in crypto like massively. I got an email from the beincrypto.com recently, I think it was this week, and they showed a bunch of data. One of the pieces of data I saw was that there was this huge adoption for crypto between 2019 and 2020, and then 2020 and then 2021. But from 2020 to 2021, it was like a mid-sized gap. And I think that is when the market slowed down. So lots of people were a bit cautious. Lots of people lost money as well. So it makes sense to give people more options to pay money, especially in this day and age where some people choose to get paid in crypto. Some people work in the crypto industry, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later just now. So I think it's just good for stores. Like, I'd love to be able to use my crypto to pay for it. I think the problem I can see is that a lot of crypto people, maybe not regular crypto people, but one step above regular like myself, where we have crypto spread across a whole bunch of places, and it would be hard to, I think, for an app like Flexa to say, okay, you have crypto on Nexo, and you have 2 or 3 MetaMasks, you have a Binance account and that sort of stuff, and how do you concentrate that on a single app so that you can have access to your crypto assets and pay from that? And then if you have like dedicated crypto in your wallet, you're not staking it, you're not earning money from it, which is another thing, I guess. It's interesting and definitely a positive sort of look towards crypto in 2022. Okay, let's move on to our next story, and this is about today. First mover Asia, Bitcoin sinks below 30K amid renewed risk fears. Major altcoins fared worse in Wednesday trading, reversing most gains from the US holiday weekend rally. South Korea takes a harder look at crypto. Good morning, here's what's happening. Bitcoin and other major cryptos declined. So Bitcoin definitely under 30K at the moment, but I just saw that it has gone over. We can see it in the corner over here, $30,063. ETH at 1826. Investors on Wednesday decided that Bitcoin wasn't such a good deal after all, or nearly any other major cryptocurrency for that matter. The largest cryptocurrency by market capitalization was recently trading just below $30,000, a 6% drop from over the past 24 hours that relinquished much of the gains posted during a US holiday weekend surge. I was on Reddit today, as I usually am, and I saw that something close to $500 million was liquidated in people who had longed Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies because they saw the bounce that we had, and people were like, oh yeah, the bear market is over, the crypto winter is done, it's not crypto summer. But no, it was not done, and so these people lost a whole bunch of money and they had not learned their lesson. All right, Bitcoin changed hands over 32,000 as recently as Tuesday morning as markets responded to the relaxation of COVID-19 restrictions in China and the faint possibility that the US central bank might relax its monetary hawkishness much later this year. If you guys had watched the video that was earlier in the segment, you would know that actually the Fed is looking to tighten monetary restrictions and they want to be more aggressive to deal with inflation so that come 2023 that they can relax the rules and regulations. All that good faith has faded into the mist by early Wednesday, with investors returning the whole hog to the risk aversiveness that has colored their moves for the past 8 months. Ether was also down 7% over the same period, trading at about $1,800. Other major cryptocurrencies sank even deeper, with the Luna Classic, the new name for the original Luna on the Terra protocol, falling 61% at one point. Sol and ADA both declined about 12%. DOT was down roughly 9%. All right, Bitcoin's price action today is not entirely surprising. Joe DePasquale, the CEO of crypto fund manager BitBull, wrote to CoinDesk, not only is it facing pressure from traditional markets, it also has been struggling to breach the resistance zone between 31 and 32K, resulting in a breakdown from the range it set over the weekend. Major stock indices dropped, with the tech-heavy Nasdaq and S&P 500 each closing up 0.7% as investors renew their concern about high inflation and the prospect of recession. Gold and the 10-year Treasury yields both rose. So the market had a bounce. It did not bounce relatively high, and now we are back down. It's climbing back up relatively slowly, but we're going to have to cross our fingers and see what's going to happen. Okay, let's move on to our next story. We don't have too many stories today because we do have a bunch of other news, and I don't want to make this a 30-minute episode. I want to keep it as a 20-minute episode. Some crypto firms are taking remote work a step further. No corporate headquarters. Binance is one of the largest players in the crypto world, right? They are the largest exchange, estimated to be worth up to 300 billion. But you'll notice something unique about the company. It doesn't have a physical headquarters. The company's lack of established headquarters has gotten the startup into hot water with regulators. It makes oversight more difficult. But the exchange isn't the only crypto company that has deemed an HQ unnecessary. Coinbase also recently got rid of its San Francisco home base in favor of going fully remote. In recent months, crypto companies have started paving their way for a departure from the sprawling, perk-heavy, glitzy headquarters of Web2 companies like Apple, Google, and Meta, which have devoted billions to Silicon Valley command centers. But their Web3 success is imbued with the remote-first tenets of the decentralized movement and bolstered by the rise of the remote work during the pandemic, could spell the death of the HQ, which has always served as a physical beacon of the booming tech world. So you guys know I'm a fully remote worker. Amun is in New York and Zurich. We have employees scattered all over the world. So it's something. And then again, if you're someone who's interested in cryptocurrency and you're looking for a job, a really popular site is cryptocurrencyjobs.co, and you would find most of the jobs there are fully remote. I mean, even beyond cryptocurrency, you will find a lot of sort of fintech and tech companies and sort of startups are like, they've realized that, hey, employees don't want to come into the office. So lots of people are very efficient working at home. You would have seen that story in the past sort of 1 month or so, that the head of Apple's AI research was like, Apple was like, hey, you need to come into the office. And he's like, no, I don't. I want to work at home. And the company forced him. And he's like, and if you want me to come into the office, I'm going to quit. And then he quit and he went back to Google, who Google said, yeah, you don't need to come to the office. Lots of people, it depends on your personality type. My older brother is the person who definitely feels more comfortable in the office. He needs that social contact. I have a fair amount of social contact, I think, on a weekly basis, maybe enough for myself. So I'm quite happy just working from home. It just depends on the person, but I can definitely see this trend continuing despite lots of places saying, yes, we want employees to come in. It's just something we're going to have to think about, something we're going to have to, another trend we have to keep watching in the crypto space and generally in the workspace as we move forward. Okay, let's look at our second to last story. Today, we're nearing the 16-minute mark, explaining why people are buying and not buying Bitcoin. Okay, so this is some research done. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies have been at the center of financial markets in 2022. Extreme volatile trends coupled with aggressive development in the Web3 space have caught the eyes of many. To further study these trends, Block Inc. recently published a report detailing a survey of 9,500 people across major continents. So the report talks about the retail trends of Bitcoin perception in 14 countries across the world. According to the same, most people consider Bitcoin a means for payment, among other uses. So let's have a look at the graphics. We're not going to read the story. Reasons to buy Bitcoin, right? So lower income people, higher income people. I wish they sort of explained what is the definition of low income and high income, because these vary by countries. So generally speaking, right, higher income people, potential to make money, diversify their investment portfolio, protects against inflation, are more trustworthy than government-backed currency. Easy way to send money to others is lower than lower income people. To purchase goods and services, again, lower. I don't know any reason to buy Bitcoin, 16%. Okay. Now, it's easy to see like a lower income people, easy way to send money to others, to purchase goods and services. They are much higher utility reasons. So these are the people who see the utility of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin in general. Now, for lower income people, 38% said, yep, potential to make money. 20% said diversify their portfolio. 17% protect against inflation. 16% more trustworthy than government-backed currency. Okay, reasons selected for not buying Bitcoin. So the largest 51% don't know enough about it. And I will say that is definitely true. Something we try to do on this podcast and YouTube channel is help educate you guys and bring you stories in an easy to understand way. As cybersecurity, theft risk, right? That has been in the media all the time. I was just listening to a podcast today where they talked about the actor Seth Green and his NFT Bored Ape Yup Club Ape being stolen, and he can't do his cartoon show, and people were making fun of that. 27% too expensive, right? Like I had this perception before I got into cryptocurrency that if I had to get a Bitcoin, I had to buy one whole Bitcoin, which was right now it's about $30,000. I don't have $30,000 to buy a Bitcoin. Don't know how to buy it. Again, I would say that's also fairly difficult. Getting an account on a centralized exchange, hooking up your bank account or your debit card, passing KYC, too much price volatility. Yes, people have told me about that all the time. I spoke to a cousin of mine yesterday. He was like, he had told me, yeah, Bitcoin's going to crash to zero and you're going to lose all your money. And I'm like, I don't think so. Uncertain regulatory outlook, we know in the States and a bunch of countries. Regulation is coming. We don't know what kind of regulation. In some places, we do know what the regulation is. In some places, we don't. So dissolving the gender divide. As per the report, there is no gender divide between people that own Bitcoin and see themselves as experts. Women, on the other hand, tend to buy Bitcoin for its utilities when compared to men. Okay. So, wow. By level of claimed knowledge, gender, and region. So America's, I only know it exists a little else. The European region, APAC, Asia Pacific, about 34% between men and women. And this is I only know it exists a little bit. Red, I'm the expert on this among my friends and family, 7%. So that would be women, 15%. Wow, in Asia are an expert compared to 7% in men. I can see that happening. So this is a lot of interesting data. 47% of women see the prospect of buying goods and services as a good reason to buy Bitcoin, compared with just 34% of men. Similarly, 47% of women see the prospect of using Bitcoin to send money to others as a good reason to buy Bitcoin, compared with 27% of men. Knowledge and optimism. Okay, interesting. So a very cool article. I love seeing stats like this, seeing how much adoption is happening, what is going on in the crypto space. Let's move on to our last story for today. Okay, Binance raised its 500 million fund to invest in Web3 as crypto slides into the bear market. Binance Labs, the company venture arm, has raised 500 million for a fund dedicated to investing in Web3 startups. Web3 is a movement in tech that aims to create a new version of the internet based on blockchain technology. Bitcoin and other digital currencies have plunged sharply since reaching all-time highs in November. Okay. This talks about Binance. All right. It comes after Andreessen Horowitz's last week announced a mammoth 4.5 billion fund to invest in crypto startups. Binance Labs plans to use the capital to invest in companies building Web3 through still an ill-defined term. Web3 loosely refers to a hypothetical future iteration of the internet that's more decentralized than online platforms today and incorporates blockchain, the shared digital ledgers behind most major cryptocurrencies. The launch of Binance's new fund arrived at a time when Bitcoin and other digital currencies are down sharply. Okay, while startup valuations of 1 billion or more are slowing down a bit, there's no current impact in early stage private markets. Currently, Binance Labs Executive Director Investments and M&A told CNBC. Binance Labs is hoping to capitalize on the recent plunge in digital assets to find founders building what it sees as the next big thing in tech. So this makes a lot of sense, right? Because despite the down market in crypto, from small projects to medium projects to large projects, people are still building, people are still innovating. Now is the time where I heard Gavin Wood from Polkadot say is the time that you can find good people. So if you are somebody who's thinking about changing jobs, crypto company is going to be looking to hire good people, because when it's a not a bear market, when it's a crypto summer, it's hard to compete with everybody who's hiring, and there's so much going on in crypto all the time. So now is the time to put some money in when things are slowing down, and take your time to understand what people are doing in the case of Binance Labs. So I can definitely see a future for that. And let's go back to our Amun page, right? So guys, thank you very much for stopping by and listening to today's show. So I think what's going to happen, I've told you guys before that we expected interviews this week, like interviews in a row. I'm still getting used to the number of interviews because we do have a lot of people reaching out to us. That being said, we've also had lots of confusion with time zones because I'm 12 hours ahead of the Eastern Standard Time, and that's even more than like California time, Pacific time. So I think that is the issue. But the plan is like one constituent show at the beginning of the week, one interview at the end of the week. If we don't get an interview, I will be doing one of these shows. We get to go over the news and update you guys on what's going on with Amun. If we do an interview, we'll get it done. Next week, I have one interview with founder of 𝕋𝕚𝕖. It is an interesting project that we'll talk more about next week. And then the week after that, we have a guy who's doing crypto insurance. And then we have another educator in the blockchain space. It should be the week after that as well. So I've got quite a few interviews in the pipe as well. I'm meeting with a PR agency that represents another big Solana project on Friday. So yeah, please keep an eye out for all of that stuff. Thank you guys very much for stopping by. Apologize for me sweating. It has been hot in Taiwan. But yeah, I will see you guys next week for another new show, and I'll talk to you guys later.